someone wrote you a check for your business tomorrow, would you know if it's a good deal? I've sat across from owners who'd spent 20, 30 years building something solid, and they had no clear idea what it was actually worth. And here's the part nobody explains properly. Your business doesn't have one value. It has multiple values. And depending on the context, the difference can be hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions. So let's break this down simply. Before we talk numbers, you have to understand something most buyers never figure out. There's a reason two people can look at the exact same business, same revenue, same profits, same employees, and walk away with completely different numbers in their heads. One offers $108,000, another offers $650,000. Both think they're right, and here's the thing, they both are. I worked with an accounting firm recently. We had 3 separate valuations done on his business, 3 different contexts, 3 completely different numbers. The spread, nearly $500,000 between the lowest and the highest. Same business, same books, same everything. So what changed? Value is contextual. For retirement planning purposes, his firm came in at around $400,000. In a divorce valuation, it dropped to roughly $180,000. But to a competitor looking to absorb his entire client base overnight, closer to $650,000. The business didn't change, the lens did. So the real question isn't, what's my business really worth? It's worth to who, under what conditions, and for what purpose. Once you understand that, everything else makes more sense. Now, 2 business owners, same industry, both did $2 million in revenue last year. One sells for $1 million, the other sells for $4 million. Same revenue, 4 times the outcome. Most people assume that's about profit, and they're partly right, but that's a method 3. Because before we even get there, most owners don't have a working number in their head at all. No ballpark, no range, nothing to pressure test against. So before we go deep, you need a pulse check. Take your last 12 months of revenue and apply a general industry multiple. It's like stepping on a bathroom scale. Not perfect, but it tells you if you're moving in the right direction. For smaller service businesses under $1 million in revenue, typical ranges look like this. But understand this, revenue tells you how much it came in, profit tells you how much stayed. Those 2 owners doing $2 million, that gap didn't come from revenue, which brings us to the real metric. As businesses mature, the thing buyers actually care about starts to change. It's not what most business owners track on a monthly basis. It's not the number on your top line. It's what's left after everything else. Remember those 2 owners from method 2 plus doing $2 million? Let's look inside the numbers for a second. Owner A runs a lean operation. At the end of the day, after salaries, rent, software, everything, $600,000 stake. Owner B is busier, more staff, more overhead, more complexity. At the end of a year, $200,000. Same revenue, but one of these businesses is worth dramatically more than the other. Not because of what came in, but because of what stayed. That's the number buyers actually pay for. And there's a specific term for it, EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Because buyers don't pay for revenue, they pay for predictable cash flow. Typical EBITDA multiples look something like this. Smaller businesses might trade at 2 to 4 times EBITDA. Mid-market companies can reach 4 to 7 times. Larger, well-structured platforms can go higher. If your business nets $400,000 annually, you might be sitting somewhere between $800,000 and $1.6 million. But that range depends heavily on one thing most owners ignore. Here's a test I use. If you disappeared for 90 days, what breaks? Think about a restaurant built around a one brilliant chef. When they're in the kitchen, everything's perfect, but the moment they leave for a vacation, an illness, a bad week, the whole thing falls apart. No one else knows the recipe. The magic lives in their hands. That's not a restaurant. That's a catering personality. Buyers don't acquire chefs. They acquire kitchens that run with that one. The most valuable restaurants aren't built on a single cook's intuition. They're built on documented recipes, trained staff, and systems to produce the same dish whether a founder is there or not. The meal arrives the same day, every time, regardless of who's holding the pan. That's what a transferable business looks like. Documented processes, recurring revenue, independent management, brand equity beyond the founder. The more your business can cook without you, the higher your multiple tends to be. That's where premiums come from. Now, 2 identical businesses, same revenue, same profit, same everything. One sells for nearly twice the price of the other. The owner who got more didn't work harder, didn't even have better margins, didn't have a stronger brand. They just sold at the right time to the right buyer inside the right structure. So here's what I mean. Let's say you run a plumbing company doing $3 million here, netting $600,000. On your own, maybe you're valued at 3 to 4 times profit. That's somewhere between 1.8 and 2 to 4 million. But if a larger operator acquires you and rolls you into a 10 company platform, that combined entity might trade at 6 to 8 times. Same 600,000 in profits, now worth 3.6 to 4.8 million. So same earnings, different wrapper, different multiple. And that difference is called multiple arbitrage. Think of your business like a Lego brick. One brick is inventory. 10 connected bricks become infrastructure. And infrastructure trades at higher prices than news prices. This is why private equity doesn't buy one company and stop. They buy several, centralized operations, improve margins, strengthen positioning, and then sell the buffer at a higher multiple. And here's what most owners miss. The difference between a 4x multiple and a 7x multiple can be the difference between retiring comfortably and retiring wealthy. But that gap isn't about working harder. It's about understanding how capital markets think. So here's a shift worth making. Stop asking, what is my business worth right now? Start asking, what would make it worth more and to whom? Because valuation isn't a number you discover at the end. It's a result you engineer along the way. The owners who exit well aren't luckier than the ones who don't. They just started thinking about this earlier. I'll see you in the next one.